Hello and welcome to this Curious About Live session brought to you by Glasgow Science Centre. My name is Patrick and our guest for this session is Beth McCulloch, who is a research assistant for the School of Health and Wellbeing at the University of Glasgow. Today, we're going to hear from Beth about what it means to be a researcher. We'll find out more about why research about our brains and our health is important and find out about the paths you can take into research. As you're watching the session, you might have your own questions for Beth, so please write those in the chat box on YouTube and we will try and get through as many of those as we possibly can. Beth, hello, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. So yeah, thank you for the invite. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you for asking. Yeah, we're excited to have you as well. So I think we'll just start at the start and bring up the first question I have for you, Beth, which is, can you just tell us more about your job? What are you up to and what do you do?
Yes, I can. So as a research assistant, I help scientists learn more about how people think and feel and kind of things that they're doing. And that tends to be usually when people are, maybe feeling a little bit sad or a bit worried or stressed. So part of my job is to collect a bit of information from people on what they've been feeling recently and try and find patterns in what they say or what they do. So it's really cool. It's just a lot about speaking to people, finding out how they've been doing recently.
Fantastic. And when you say researching, does that mean you're reading a lot of books or doing a lot of Googles, or what does that mean?
Oh, it's a bit of everything. So it can be books. I mean, a lot of Google these days, and trying to just kind of find out as much information as possible. But then the research side is we have like specific questions that we'll ask people so that everyone's kind of getting asked the same questions and we can gather information on that kind of specific question that we're asking.
And are you speaking to loads and loads of people like every day, or is it just a few people, or what's your day-to-day like?
Oh, my day-to-day, every day is different, but in terms of meeting with people, it's usually one person a day. We want to make sure that person that we're speaking to, they're really heard by us and that we're giving them the time that they deserve, so we're not rushing them. And we say to people, take your time, as much time as you need. And, I love that. I love having as much time with different people and hearing about their day and what they get up to and all the different things. I think that's one of the things I love about my job. Everyone's different and have different things that they kind of like to talk about. So I find that so exciting.
Fantastic. I've got another one of my questions for you coming up now, Beth, which is, I was wondering this. Do you work in a laboratory? When you hear people talking about research and universities, you'd think it's going to be somewhere like a lab. Is that right?
Oh, I love this question. My own family asked me this question when I first started working in research. I actually have some pictures for this because I don't work in a lab. So this is all the different places that I work. So up the top left is me looking very, very happy at my desk. That's my little safe space in the office. Next to that is me with my two phones, my work phones, and I'm working on a train because it just doesn't stop. In the middle, on the left-hand side, you have me in one of the NHS teams on a very sunny day. That's why I've got my sunglasses on. The right-hand side's just me and my dog outside of one of the work buildings. And then the bottom pictures are me at different conferences. So, we can go to different countries or different parts of Scotland just to talk about the research that we're doing. So I work in lots of different places, but the one place you will never find me is with test tubes in a lab, unfortunately. And I'm also at home sometimes as well, which is my favourite place to be, secretly.
It looks like, looking at all those photos, you're out and about quite a lot. You're never really in the same place at once.
No. I'm in the office once a week usually, and then at home once a week, and then the other 3 days I'm just anywhere in the west of Scotland.
Put you on the spot a little bit here, Beth, but is there a favourite conference or away day or place you've had to visit? Is there anything that comes to mind that you've particularly enjoyed?
Oh, that is a really good question, actually. Do you know, we went to Manchester, so the study I work on right now, the lead site is Manchester. It came from a researcher in Manchester. And we went down there at the start of this year to go and meet. So the study I work on is across the UK. And we usually meet kind of like this on Teams, so we've never met face to face. So we went down for a training day down in Manchester, and that was probably my favourite time because we got to go and meet everyone that we've only ever met online and have a bit of a chat and hear about how things are going, but just kind of like loads of learning as well. But it was just so fun. We got good food, which is my favourite thing to do. And I'd never been to Manchester, so I didn't really know what to expect, but it was a really fun city and there was loads to see and do. So I think that, but I'm a bit of a homebody. I love Scotland, so anywhere that gets me different parts of Scotland as well.
Fantastic. I've got another question coming up for you just now, Beth, but a reminder to everyone watching that you can type in your own questions in the chat box on YouTube. So get typing just now if there's anything you'd like to know. Beth, did you always know what you wanted to do for a career?
Oh God, no. I didn't even know when I was in uni. When I was younger, I was like, I'm going to be a West End star. That was, I loved, and I still love musical theatre. It's such a big part of my life. And I went through uni and high school, and I was like, oh, I really like to talk to people and I like to help people and see how they're feeling. But I wasn't sure. So I actually went to uni to do philosophy, which now I think back is really funny because I didn't even know what that was. And if you ask me what it was now, don't think I'd even be able to tell you. And I picked psychology up as like a kind of second subject. I thought, well, that'll be quite fun. And I fell in love with it. I love learning about how the mind works and how people act. And I love helping people. But and even in uni, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. I think I've tried so many different careers. So no, and I think that's so exciting, is trying different things and learning different things and not knowing what you want to do, I think, is part of the fun. So no, I absolutely didn't know what I wanted to do. I fell on my feet here just by chance, and I love it.
Same here, Beth, same here. You mentioned that, so you studied psychology. It's a word I've heard a lot. I just wonder if we can go into a little bit more detail. When we say psychology, what do we mean?
Yep. So psychology is really just the study of people and how our minds work and how we think and how we behave and learning a bit about that. So, psychology in itself is so human based, and, everyone's so different and we have such different experiences. And why do we maybe behave like that? And why do we think like that? And it can be things as well, like therapy and learning a bit about how we help people when they're feeling certain ways or doing certain things. So, but at kind of such a kind of easy way, it's just about people and how different everyone is. And yeah, I've said that a lot, but I love that about humans, that we're all super different and we bring different things to the table. I think it's great.
No, me too. And we are all such different people, aren't we? I know it seems like a simple thing to say, but every single person is so different, and you probably find that in your work and your research, don't you?
Yeah. I think I think everyone has these things. I hear quite a lot of, oh, that's this thing about me is really embarrassing, and I'm like, no, that's so exciting. Like this thing that you do that maybe not other people do. I'm like, that's the thing that's so special. Like, I mean, I always say out to my friends, I like I said, I do musical theatre, and none of my friends do it, and they love to hear about it, and I love to talk about it. And I think that I'm like, that's the thing that makes me me, and that's the thing that makes me human, and I love that. I love hearing that about other people. We're so different, and no two people are alike.
And how boring would it be if everyone?
Yeah, it's so boring.
We've got another question for you coming up, Beth, which is, we've touched on this a little bit, but maybe we can go into a wee bit more detail this time. So what does a day in your job look like? After this call with me, Beth, what are you going to be up to?
Oh, I actually also prepared some pictures for this one because a day in my life is so different. So the top left is, again, me just kind of presenting some research and spending some time speaking to people. On the right-hand side, me with a lovely wig on. That's Halloween. So we're very serious researchers in our group. We take it very seriously. So I dress up as my boss for Halloween just there. So that's a picture of us. And we do stuff like that. We do a lot of kind of fun events and socializing and making sure that we're taking a step away from the research and spending time together. The bottom left is a conference at Glasgow Uni that I helped kind of make and then presented at. So that was a bit of learning for NHS staff, so teaching them about what we do and what our plans are for the future. And then on the right, my days are filled with coffee and matcha and food, and I like to go everywhere I can. So that's been my favourite matcha that I've ever tried, and I had to include it because it looks so pretty. Wanted everyone to see it. But yeah, no 2 days are the same. I can be in the office, I can be speaking to people face to face, I can be speaking to mental health professionals, I can be speaking to schools, I can be, anywhere that you might think a researcher would go, you will probably find me there. And even, I've worked really closely with you as well in the Science Centre for doing different projects. So it's such a fun job because a week is never the same. I don't have a week that's samey. Samey, is that a word? We're using it. We're going for it today. Everything's super different. But the most important thing is finding ways to have fun and lots of food.
Fantastic. And so do you get told what it is you have to research, or are you allowed to just go off and find things out on your own? How does that all work?
Oh, it depends on the person and their job. So for me, I applied to work on a specific study, but other people can apply to just work for the university as a researcher, and they can pick and choose. And they kind of go through like different processes. So it depends on the person. For me, I'm very much one project. But then I say that different things pop up in my research group, and people are like, "Oh, can you help with this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I've got time to squeeze that in." But yes, I think that's again one of the really fun things is the jobs. It can be different. I mean, I could apply for a different job and do different research. So it's different for every person.
Fantastic. I've got another question coming up for you now, Beth. A reminder to everyone watching that you can send in your own via the YouTube chat box. So get typing now. Beth, what skills do you think are important for your job? You mentioned, you're obviously very good at talking to people, and so that must be one as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lovely question, and I've actually been asked this a few times, but I think just coming to this job with kindness, a lot of the people that we speak to, and you might not think it's a skill, but to me it very much is. We speak to people who are not feeling their best, and they're feeling quite low and quite worried, and I think just coming to that with kindness and openness, it takes a lot to talk about these things, and whilst we say different emotions are very normal and they're part of being human, they can be quite scary. So I think that element of being kind to people, we don't know what other people are going through, and being really open. I think being a good listener as well, giving people that space to talk about what they're going through, and letting them share that in a way that makes sense to them, and without kind of interrupting, being able to kind of sit there and say, okay, I'm listening, all I'm doing is listening. But also being able to ask questions, and not being afraid to ask questions, just because someone might be struggling, it doesn't mean we can't ask and we can't help that way. Sometimes people just want to be asked if they're okay, and I think that's the main thing. But yeah, I think that's the main things for me: listening, asking questions, and just that kindness and caring for people. I think is such an important skill. We all, the emotions are so normal, and I always say that every emotion, good, bad, is so normal. It's part of being human, and we wouldn't necessarily appreciate the good without the bad, so that's normal. But just being open to different experiences, and showing a bit of compassion to everyone around us.
It's so nice to hear somebody talking about kindness and being nice to others as a skill, because it absolutely is, and it can be a choice as well. And I think everyone watching, if you are a kind person and you're good at listening and you're a good friend, like you said, Beth, and I think that those are absolutely skills that you can take forward into whatever job you want to do.
Definitely.
I've got another question coming up for you now, Beth, which is from Erin. Thank you very much. Is university the only way into research?
A very good question. I think it depends. You can get into research in so many different ways. I mean, I personally went to university, but you can volunteer on research projects. You can start doing some peer support work. There's loads of different ways. My job specifically, I had to go to university, but that doesn't mean that there aren't other jobs within research that require that. There's loads of people that I work really closely with that never went to university and don't want to go. And I think that's the great thing about research. We need all these different experiences to make research really feel like, the whole point of research is we want it to really show the whole human kind of scope. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And we can't do that without looking at lots of different types of people and being supported by lots of different people. So no, you can kind of there's different kind of ways you can get into it. But yeah, I mean, my specific job probably would do uni, but there's other jobs around mine that don't require it. Oh, that was a fancy word for a Tuesday. Wednesday.
That's good to know, and it's quite reassuring as well that there's absolutely more than just one way into research. Yeah. Erin also got in touch to ask what your favourite musical is, Beth.
Oh, I love this question. Right. Oh, I feel so on the spot. It's difficult. I'm a very big fan of Hamilton. And I saw that on Broadway last year with my best friend. I dragged her with me when we went to New York. But I think I might just always have a special spot for Wicked. It was the first one I ever seen. So there's my top two. I don't know that I could pick one, to be honest.
Both great answers. I've got another question coming up for you now, Beth. I'm not sure if this is about musicals. No, it's not. Thank you very much for your question. It's, what is the most interesting thing you've learned
Oh, that's hard. Do you know, I think it actually probably goes right back to, I'm trying to think just how different everyone is. I think even when I was in uni, I was like, oh, but we have things that make us really similar, and we do. But I think for me, those just we're so different as humans, and it's so exciting that those differences and how we are when we're younger really shape us as adults. I think that's so cool. Like all these little things I learned when I was, 7 or 8 are the things that I hold with me now I'm an adult, and those values are the things that make me me, and those things I loved as a child are the things I love as an adult. I don't know if that really answers the question, but I think it's just how different humans are is so interesting to me, because I think it's so cool. I love that. I'm trying to think what else I've learned. The most interesting thing I've learned. That's a really good question, but it's really hard. I feel like I learn every day as well. And I think probably generally in research, the most interesting thing I've learned is how research actually like works. Like I just thought you would come up with a question, but like, right, I really want to research that. But actually, no, you have to go speak to a panel of people and they have to approve it, and then you come back with changes. And I think like there's a lot more to it than me just going, oh, I've got this great idea. I thought it was probably a little bit more simpler.
No, and hearing you answer that question as well got me thinking about how, that there are, 8 billion people on the planet or something close to that. And, how you grow up, where you grow up, all these things, whether you grow up in a hot place or a cold place can absolutely shape the rest of, your life and how you think and who you are. And that is such an exciting world to live in.
It's so, I mean, I've got a friend who's kind of born and raised in Philadelphia, and we meet once a year. And I always think when we talk about like our day-to-day lives, I'm like, they're so different. Like we just have had the wildest of experiences growing up. And it always makes me really laugh, because I'm like, I'll say something and she's like, oh, never had that growing up. And I'm like, really? That's such a big part of my like adult life now as well. Like just being from a different place. But I think it's one of the things that I get really excited to talk to her about. I'm like, oh my God, tell me more about that. I never done that as a child, and I definitely don't do it as an adult. So it's super cool.
Yeah, or when you're younger and you go around to someone else's house and you think, oh, they have dinner at 5 o'clock and you have to take your shoes off and all these.
Yeah, I was the opposite. I was the 5 o'clock dinner, and I'd go to my friends and it'd be 7 o'clock and I'd be like, I'm starving. But yeah, things like that. And then it shapes like being an adult, because now like I'm like, well, I'm more 6 o'clock now, and my friends are like, that's far too early for dinner. I'm like, when your kids come over here, they're getting an early dinner.
We should probably get ourselves back on track, because we've gone from the most interesting thing you've ever learned to talk about what time we had dinner.
Yes.
Next question is, what are you most proud of in your career, Beth?
Oh, I've got so many. I think probably the thing I'm most proud of is that the work that I do right now, it's helping me. It helps make changes. So, without research, we can't make changes to our NHS or our government. We have to provide that information that what we're doing, it works. So I think knowing that the work I'm doing is helping to make those changes that make people feel better in the long run is something I'm so proud of, because, we hear a lot about people who are maybe having, maybe going through difficult times, and without being the backbone of that research, I can look at things and say, okay, but this is how we make the change. This is how we help people. And I'm so proud of being a part of that. It's not just me. I work with a team of people, and I'm proud of the work we do together, and that we say, we have challenges and we say, okay, well, this isn't working. Let's come together and think about this. Because at the end of the day, people are at the heart of everything we do. And I think I always keep that in mind, that it doesn't matter how difficult maybe my day is or my week is, that I'm helping the future, and I'm helping things in the future be a little bit better. And I'm so proud of being a part of that.
I hadn't actually thought about that until you'd mentioned that it's so important that you get the research right, because that does, there's not very much you can do with the wrong research, or maybe there is. If you're telling everyone the wrong facts, then
I'm making the facts up. No.
Yeah, it's so important to get it right.
It
must be a really rewarding job, Beth.
It is. It really is, and I love it. I think just keeping that part of like, we're helping people in the long run, and whether that be 5 years or 10 years or 15 years or next week, we don't know when that research is going to be implemented, but knowing that there are people out there that are really going to benefit from it and see a change in their life is so important. I think that's, if I've ever got a day where I'm got a lot of work on, I just have to remind myself that I'm helping people, and this is going to really impact people in the future, and that it really does keep me going. And I love that. I love being able to help. I think it's always been a part of me since I was younger. Not with the housework. My mum will always say I never wanted to help with the housework, but I like when my friends were sad, I always wanted to kind of help them. So I think it's just always kind of been a part of me. And now seeing that as an adult, it's really exciting to me.
Yeah, it's in your nature. It feels
Yeah.
like the right job. Absolutely. It's still a little bit of time for you to send in your own questions via the chat box in YouTube. So get typing quickly, and Beth and I can go through them. But in the meantime, Beth, what's something people would be surprised to know about your job?
What would be surprised? I mean, I would say that I don't wear a lab coat or work with test tubes is probably the most surprising. A lot of my work is done by talking to people face to face and meeting different people. But the most surprising, and I also have a picture for this, is that my dog comes to work with me. So there's my puppy. He's 11 months old. He's called Guppy. And that's one of the girls I work with. We were in a very serious, very important meeting, and he decided halfway through the meeting that he just had to have a cuddle. So I think it's so surprising. People are always like, "You take your dog to work with you?" I'm like, "Yes, I take my dog to work with me. He's the team support." But I think that's part of like the world we live in, that we can do things like that. I love being able to bring him with me. He just kind of sits there, very chill, very happy, lots of attention. And it makes the days a little bit easier. I don't know if you just heard that, but he just batted down my door so to get, and he obviously heard me say his name.
He's obviously very well trained. The world is always a better place with dogs in it. That's for sure. We've got another question for you now. Thank you very much for your live question. How do you deal with setbacks or challenges in your research, Beth?
Oh, that is a wonderful question. I love that. Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, working in research, part of that is we get setbacks and challenges weekly. I think for me and my team, it's really important that we take time together as a team. And so one of the things we do is if we have, say, quite a big issue that's came up, or like you said, setbacks, challenges, we'll schedule a meet. We have a Friday meeting every meeting, and we make sure that we bring cake and coffee. And I know it's such a small thing, but we know we're going to have a quite a heavy meeting. And so making sure we're making that space a little bit more fun, and we take time to check in. How are you feeling about this? Like, are you feeling okay? Do you need some time away just now? And then we get a big whiteboard out and lots of pens, and we have brainstorming ideas. And it's just about showing that, we're at the end of the day, we're a team, and, the people I work with, I'm so close to, and I want to make sure that they're okay, because we can't face the challenges if we're not okay. So taking that time together and saying, okay, let's think, take a bit of time, have a chat, and then where are our ideas? We call it a brain dump. We just throw everything at the paper and see where we can go with that. But that's such a good question, and I think it's so important that we will face setbacks and challenges in life, and not just in research and any part of life. And I think taking the time to be kind to ourselves, taking that space to feel how we're feeling, and then say, okay, we've thought about it, we're together, where do we go now? What happens next is so, so important. But I love that question. I think it's great.
How much of your job is team-based, Beth, and how much time do you spend on your own?
Do you know, see, now that we live with mobile phones, I would say I'm very team-based, because I get a text message every day from my team. But it really depends on the week. I mean, last week I was in the office Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I was at home on Friday. And then this week I won't see anyone until Friday, because I'm at different assessments. Some assessments I would go to on my own, other assessments I go with another person. And I think it's really difficult, but I do feel it when I'm not around my team. Like, I get really excited for a Friday. I'm like, this is it. I know we can come together and have a chat. So it's difficult, but we're a team that we have our group chats and stuff. So we're very in contact with each other. And I think I'm at a point, I've been in this job for nearly 2 years now. So I consider a lot of people I work with my friends. So even after work, I'm getting phone calls talking about their lives and stuff. So, but yeah, it's just so different each week.
That's great. It's a sign of a good team as well, when you're happy to hear from your work outside of working
hours. They're fabulous. I was going to say, I don't tell them I said that, but this is live streamed, so they'll hear it anyway.
We've got another one of my questions for you, Beth, which is, do you think that the way you do research, or the way that research happens in general, is going to change in the future?
Oh, I hope so. I really hope so. I
How
think
come?
that's one of the most exciting things about research is the more we learn about people, the more we learn about the more the world changes and grows, the more we change. And I love that. It evolves every day. I mean, even the way when I first started, the way that we were reaching out to people to welcome them into the study has completely changed. So I hope the way that we do research changes. I hope it continues to fit with the people that we work with and the changes we want to see. I think that's one of the most exciting things about research is that it's never the same. It's we learn from each research project we do. We learn what we can do better, what we can do differently. There's always those things that will stay the same, but yeah, I hope we continue to meet people where they're at and change and adapt to people.
Fantastic, Beth. We've got time for one last question, which is, do you have any advice for people watching at home who are interested in doing a similar job to you?
Oh, let me think. This is a very big question. I think stay curious is my best advice. Ask questions, find answers, feel your feelings. Don't be afraid to talk about your feelings. Every feeling that we have is there for a reason, whether that be happy, sad, worried. It tells us something about ourselves. So talk about them, talk about how you're feeling with your friends and your family, ask those questions. And I think the most important thing is just be curious about the world around you. I think that's the best thing we can do. And I think we should always be asking questions.
Well, I think advice on being curious is the perfect way to finish this Curious About session. Beth, I just want to say a massive thank you from me and from Glasgow Science Centre for joining us today. It's been really lovely to hear about you and the work that you do. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope it's been helpful and I have loved being here. So thank you.
Thank you, Beth. And thank you to you, our audience, for your brilliant questions. If you'd like to find out more about healthcare science, you can find that on the Curious About website, which is curiousabout.glasgowsciencecentre.org. On that website, you'll also find loads more videos, activities, and games, and all of these sessions are recorded. So if you missed the start or you want to watch it again, you can find that in the live sessions section of the website. Please let us know what you thought of this session. A link to a survey is popping up in the YouTube chat box just now. But until next time, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.